Hello. Welcome to our February Public Safety Committee meeting. Um, we have one of our committee members on right now, Nakapon, and we're waiting on some others, but I don't want to keep our guest speaker waiting. I'll just kick it off by conducting a quick roll call. Committee member Nakapon, are you here?
I am.
Okay, great. And then I'm not seeing any other committee members, so we will hopefully some of them will be able to join. One of them already reached out and told me they couldn't make it tonight. But yeah, we'll do what we can. Our agenda tonight, we're going to hear from um, Ms. Jasmine Banab about the Safe Passage program here in DC. Learn more about that and what is the same and what is different in 2026. And then we have, I see we have Captain Macaulay Murphy on, so we'll get some updates from MPD about the latest crime data, stats, and happenings in ANC 1B to understand how this year is shaping up compared to last year. And then next on our agenda, the council is conducting oversight hearings right now. And one of the ideas the committee had was to advocate for the Department of Parks and Recreation to really, open its doors to youth at all hours of the day, but including in the early evening. And so some committee members had worked on some testimony for that hearing that we could submit. So I'm hoping to take another look at that. That hearing is on Thursday. And then Nakapon's Beta Academy has applied for a partnership with the Department of Parks and Recreation. And they responded recently saying that they would like the ANC to submit a letter in support of a permit, basically, to test this out. And so I'm hoping to, work with Nakapon on some, drafting the actual language that the ANC can pass at its March meeting to support the Beta Academy partnership application. And then we'll end with some community announcements. So without further ado, Ms. Benab, you should be able to speak now.
Can you hear me? Am I on camera?
You're not on camera. I think I can, let me see if I can promote you to panelist. Then you should be
Okay.
able to turn on your camera.
Okay. Unless you don't want me to be on. And then I also have Lolita Griffin as well.
Okay, let me promote her as well.
I think. Hmm.
Um,
It won't let me.
yeah, I've had issues with this before, unfortunately.
Okay.
Um, well, at least we can hear you. Though we,
Okay. Sorry about
I
that.
wish we could see your face. It isn't.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. That's not
Okay.
your fault. I will reach out to our admin consultant because I think we've kind of run into this issue before. Uh,
Okay. Sorry about that. It's not
let
even giving me like the option to
me
click
see if I
on.
can make you a co-host. Okay, now can you turn on your camera?
See? No. Hmm. It's weird. Let's see.
Very
Nope.
strange. If I
Hmm.
make you a host, can you turn on your camera? Let's see.
It doesn't take you away from host.
Yeah, actually, I don't want to
And
do
it doesn't,
that.
yeah, okay. It's fine. As long as you all are
Okay.
okay, I apologize. I don't know if it's
No, we're
right.
good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you
Um,
so much for joining. I really
no,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me. And I also have Lolita Griffin on as well, who will speak a little later. As I said,
Yes,
she's our one of our community based organizations for safe
great.
passages. So I wanted her also to you all to hear from her and her input as well as she's out there with the ambassadors.
Sounds
Um,
good.
yep, there she is. Okay, we can hear you, I think, right, Lolita? Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
here. Can you hear me?
Yep, yep.
Yes.
So
Okay, got
I
it.
do have a presentation.
Okay.
Can I share that? We
You
allow
might
you?
have to,
Uh-oh.
you could always email it to me and I can click through the slides. Unfortunately, I made you a co-host, but if you're not able to,
See, maybe I
yeah,
can.
give
Oh,
it a shot. Give it a shot.
maybe. There we go. I think I got it. Hope it's the right one.
Oh, there we go.
There
Great.
we go. All right. Thanks. Thank you. So hello everyone. I'm Jasmine Banab, the Director of Community Initiatives for the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice. I oversee many public safety initiatives across the district, to include safe passages as well. So I know today is just basically talking about touching on safe passages and answering any questions that you all may have. So I'll start briefly on just overall safe passages, and then we can talk about the Ward 1 area that we have with safe passages. So at this time, we have 12 priority areas across the district.
Hmm.
We cover approximately 122 routes, almost up to 244 safe passage ambassadors. We fund four community-based organizations. One in which one is on the call today, which is Collaborative Solutions for Communities. They actually cover Columbia Heights, Parkview, Petworth, Tenleytown, Brightwood, and Fort Taunton, and Congress Heights, if I didn't mention that as well.
Hmm.
And we have, so our 12 priority areas is Columbia Heights, Parkview, Tenleytown, Brightwood, Petworth, Fort Totten, Brooklyn, Noma, LaFont Plaza, Potomac Avenue, or Potomac Avenue area, Minnesota Avenue, Deanwood, Anacostia Road, Good Hope Road, and Congress Heights.
Hmm.
Ambassadors are stationed along predetermined routes as students travel to and from school. They do have daily touch points between school leaders, agency partners, and other safe passage ambassadors that are in the fields. They do have a weekly touch point with schools. Daily, it depends on the situation, but they are, especially this year, I've seen an increase of that communication is more daily. So they're really communicating with schools when they are seeing things out in the street and that they need to alert the school leadership on, and vice versa. They also let them know if something may have happened to school that may spill out into the community.
Hmm.
Safe Passage ambassadors serve as trusted adults to help ensure students get to and from school safely by being a visible presence, monitoring routes, and verbally de-escalating and potential safety issues. So they act as, the eyes and ears for community, identifying and reporting hazards, verbally de-escalating issues, and building relationships with students, families, community members to promote a safer environment. Monitoring routes. So they patrol designated routes to and from school, observing for potential safety risks to students, such as suspicious activity, negative behaviors. Also, they do a lot of even environmental. If they see anything, they're also reporting that out as well. Not only to 311, but also to us, so we can also escalate it. We've had situations, I don't think in the Ward 1 area, but in other areas where they get on posts and there's a car that maybe from the night before it was burnt up, right? So they'll make sure to flag that for us immediately so we can get that removed because again, we don't want students to have to walk to school and see a burnt car. Or
Hmm.
just even like trees down, signages that are down, any environmental, vacant properties that they see that kids also have open access to, they also report that. So anything to do with environmental, they really have, they're looking at the whole area that they're in, not just walking back and forth, but also
Hmm.
ensuring that they also have safe travels to and from school. And I already touched on that. So they look and report, environmental concerns, verbally de-escalate. They work to verbally de-escalate conflicts, prevent bullying, and mediate issues among students or with community members as needed. They act as a bridge between students, schools, and the community, building trust and providing support. They often build strong relationships with students, sometimes serving as mentors and mentors, as some cases that we have seen in the past. Um, Whenever there is an incident, we do have a protocol. We'll talk about that later on in the presentation, but they do report incidents to their supervisors, school safety personnel, and as needed to MPD.
Hmm.
When they are out there, this is what they'll be wearing. They're wearing a green vest that's identifiable. They have IDs. I don't have a picture of each area has one supervisor that's also out there with them per team. They wear now a blue vest, same writing, safe passage. On the back, it'll say safe passage supervisor. Program man. So throughout the year, each CBO, oops, sorry, are monitored through ongoing site visits, quarterly desk audits, quarterly programmatic reports, and monthly staffing plans. Increased communication. Safe Passage ambassadors are required to participate, and mainly this is the program managers and supervisors, one-on-one monthly staff meetings and monthly Safe Passage managers meetings. They do, again, I'm mentioning again, daily communication with school leaders and relevant law enforcement agencies as needed. We do have a reporting tool, which is the unusual incident report. So everything that they see, whether it's environmental, whether it's a threat, whether it's a fight, even if they get something from the school, they are reporting that in the unusual incident report, and they have 24 hours to complete that. We also have a 5:30 p.m. call every day, where we're just summing up the day, the morning shift and the afternoon shift. So they work 8 to 10 and then 2:30 to 5:30 daily. And so we, on all school days, we do have a 5:30 call. They're talking about any of the incidents. We're talking through it, making sure if they need any extra support. Also in real time, that way, if we know that there's any potential issues that may arise at one of the schools the following morning, I have a 7 p.m. call with MPD to make sure that we have extra coverage. Or if it's something else where we bring violence interrupters in or another entity, we have a little bit of time to work through that to make sure that they have the support needed for the next morning before school starts. DMPSJ also provides training opportunities for grantees throughout the year on various topics such as youth development, working with youth, reframing conflict, engaging with families, trauma-informed care, and best practices of youth work. Those are just some of the trainings, but they have ongoing trainings throughout the year. I just listed a few of them. Safe Passage Ambassadors, we do have an interactive map. I'll make sure that I share that with you all in the chat before the end of this meeting, where so they're required to use the map. This is the route that they're on a daily basis, morning and afternoons. This is open and public to the schools, to the community, to parents, so they can see where those safe passage ambassadors are throughout their work shift. And they walk that area constantly. Thing is wrong. Okay. To date, now this is just for Columbia Heights.
Hmm.
Um, and this is starting for this physical year, which is starting October 1st to date.
Hmm.
There have been one environmental. This has really gone down, and I'm sorry, I should have. Maybe I'll share it with you. I'll try to pull it from what it looked like a year ago at this time.
Hmm.
So it's looking
Hmm.
much better. Four fights, no gunshots that have been heard during their time period. Not that it doesn't happen, but during their time period of work and during their shifts, there's been no gunfire. Medical emergency, that could include anything. It could be someone having an overdose that they witnessed and they're assisting with. It could be someone just having a medical, health emergency.
Hmm.
Reckless driving. I'm
Is
sorry.
this coming from the unusual incident reports
Yeah, the
data?
unusual.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
got
I'm
it. So
sorry.
these are the types of things they would report.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Reckless driving, robberies, none during their time or shifts, which I think that actually has come down a lot tremendously in the last year
Mm.
too.
Yeah.
Suspicious activity, threats. We've only had one that has been reported. Verbal altercations, zero at this time.
Hmm.
And remember, this is just during their time, right? So 8 to 10, 2:30 to 5:30. And let me correct that. During the daylight savings time, we push that back from 2:30 to 5:30 to 2 to 5. So once daylight saving changes again, they'll go back from 2:30 to 5:30.
Hmm.
So this is what they just from October 1st to present. Do you have any questions on this one? You look
Um,
like you did. I wasn't sure.
no, no, no. Continue.
Okay. And then just to add, which is not on here, during the snow, schools were closed. And actually, throughout the whole district, we had I think the most amount of ambassadors that really participated in show snuffling was from Ward 1. So the first couple of days, there were several seniors out. The last couple of days of the week, they were really focusing on their routes, also curb cuts, because we know that that kind of got piled up.
Hmm.
So they really did a lot of shoveling throughout the week, which I think was very helpful.
Hmm. That's
And we
great.
get the most participation from Ward 1.
So were they,
Mhm.
so I'm curious. So how did that program, how was that launched, I guess? Was it did you all prepare for Safe Passage ambassadors to help with the snow removal, or it was kind of like it's this big problem?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no, we did not.
Hmm. And
Because we don't know when there's going to be snow. I know last year, they did it as well, but we didn't know there was going to be, especially this significant amount of snow. But everybody was willing and ready and able to do it.
hmm
So we put it together probably within a day or two. I think I did before the snow. I did reach out to CBOs and say, "Hey, not sure if this is going to happen. If
hmm
we do have a significant amount of snow, would any ambassadors be, willing to come out and help?"
hmm
And participate. So I just did that in advance just in case, so we wouldn't do last minute, like trying to get people to sign up. But we
hmm
got a really good amount of people, and they really, I think, helped a lot. They did a lot of areas on Columbia Road, on Harvard Street, 14th
Okay.
Street.
Gotcha. So they were able to get to a lot of those areas
Yes.
before DPW.
Well, the sidewalks, because remember,
The
DPW
sidewalk.
does do sidewalks.
Yeah, the sidewalks have been pretty miserable.
Yeah. And then they helped with the schools, right? Because we know school
Mhm.
is coming back in session, just making sure
Yep.
that, those areas were cleared.
hmm
So they did around their own school areas as much as they could as well. So this was a
Okay.
team effort from everyone, from the snow heroes to everyone
Yeah.
trying to make
Yeah.
sure that, because I think it was something we didn't expect. The ice was a big surprise, I think. I didn't expect all that ice, but they really came out and showed out. So I really appreciated that from them. I'm going to now introduce Lolita Griffin. Like I said, we have four CBOs. One of them is Collaborative Solutions for Communities. I want her to touch a little bit on the Safe Passage student engagement before we talk about Columbia Heights ambassadors and who's where. So
hmm
Lolita?
Yes, hi everybody, and thanks again, Jasmine and the committee for allowing me to speak about safe passage and their student engagement. One great thing that I love that we do is each ambassador, every week they submit 10 names of students that they have engaged with along the routes that they're assigned to, because we feel as though that's very important to lay eyes on, the scholars as they go into school so they can say, hey, well, this ambassador knows my name. I'm important,
hmm
tomorrow I'm going to come to school because I know that ambassador is going to be at that route and they're going to see me and they're going to encourage me to go to school. So one of the things that they do weekly is they engage with students, they collect their names, and we collect those names, and if we have to reach out for anything as mediation, or if that student needs any additional supports, they feel comfortable going to those ambassadors along those routes. And
hmm
so what we wanted to do is we wanted to find out what's working, what's not working, and what we need to do more of. So we created a survey specifically for the students along those priority areas, so we can know, hey, what we need to do, better, or how they feel about, the ambassadors that they see every day. So we started
hmm
doing surveys just for the students when we have our community pop-up events every
hmm
month, and then when we do it like maybe quarterly. Give the students surveys. They click on a link. They answer 4 to 5 questions. Do you feel safe while traveling to and from the school due to the appearance of safe passage staff? And to date, we have collected 263 responses from the students, and 263 of them said yes, that they do feel safe when while the ambassador is out there. And one of the other questions is, have you had a positive interaction with safe passage during your daily commute? And fortunately, 262 said yes. I think only one said no, but they do have a great impact on the students along the routes. Their presence make a big difference. It has improved attendance. It has decreased the bullying and things like that. And one of the other questions are you aware of any school or community activities promoted by Safe passage staff. It's because one thing we have to do is that when we're going to have a community event, we want the community to know, the students to know, because sometimes they will help out, come out, get the information that they need around safety, who they can call if something goes, if a shooting or things, something like that will happen. We have safe spots along the areas of the school that will support not only the ambassadors but the students, that they can run to shelter if something happens. So that we want them to be aware of that information. And 240 of them said yes, and 23 said no. And then since St. Patrick's has been located near all of the schools, we wanted to know, have there been a decrease in fights or violence and incidents near your schools? And with their answers, they say 261 said yes, and no say two. And like Jasmine, she showed you the chart of how the incidence has improved since last year, and which is a great thing. Um, and we also asked them, have they noticed any improvement in with you and your peers' behaviors while you're traveling to and from school? Because that was one of the major issues that we came across. Like, when they going to school, there's a lot of horseplay and there's a lot of things that's going on. And with the presence of the Safe Passage ambassadors encouraging, you late for school, you gotta hurry up. That it's time for you. Don't be hanging out by the library. Don't be hanging out by the gas station. And
Hmm.
261 said yes, and two said no. So we wanted to get the students' feedback, and it was really helpful to let us know that we're making an impact in a community, right? So getting
Hmm.
their feedback was, like I said, was really important, and we look forward to making sure that our scholars that we support along the routes going to and from school are safe every day. So I'm just so happy to share their response, and we most likely. Well, I know we are. We're going to continue to get their feedback, and get them to join in any upcoming pop-ups, and make sure that we stay connected with other community members, other safe spots, which is the mom and pop stores, any local businesses, and of course our point of contacts at the schools on a daily and weekly and quarterly basis. So yes, so thank you for allowing me to share one of our engagements with the scholars from Safe Passage. And I look forward to other meetings like this so we can share other data about what's going well and what we need to do more of. Thank you.
Thank you, Lolita.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Lolita? Or we can go on, and then if we have questions at the end, I guess.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
works.
Again, so this, I'll make sure to share the link for the interactive map. This is kind of what it looks like on the interactive map, but a little slightly different. But on the
Mm.
left side, so we have number of ambassadors for Ward 1 is 20. Number of supervisors is 1. We have 9 routes. The schools that they cover, remember, they're not school-based, they're community-based. But the schools, because of where they are and their routes, they're covering, safe passage for students from Czech, Cardozo, Meridian, Tubman at their current location, slightly. Meridian Middle School, Next Step, LAYC Teen Center, Tubman Elementary School, previous location. Actually, they were really advocating and were able to do it, but then they moved. So once they move back, they'll have a better structured safe passage team to make sure that their Tubman is also covered. Columbia Heights Metro and U Street Metro. So they walking around like the Cardozo area, they do the 14th Street corridor, Park Road, U Street by the U Street Metro, Girard. And you can kind of see with this map the areas that they cover on all their routes.
Hmm. Interesting. So they're concentrated around Cardozo and ANC 1B, it looks like.
Mhm.
And then what's the loop around the Harrison Playground?
Let me see. Hold on. Can't move the thing here. The
In the south there?
no, it's because I have the
Oh, okay. You have the live map.
no. I have the where all of you are at in the middle of it for some reason. I'm trying to move it up. Okay, which area?
So Harrison around Harrison Playground, I guess there's a route to help
Yes.
kids
Yeah.
get to and from Cardozo.
Yes. That's where we saw the most traffic is
Okay.
around there. That's how we also get the routes. It's also data driven as well, with putting data from MPD as well, to figure out where, we see the most increase in incidents throughout the year. And it's subject to change
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
need be, because we do see that it'll shift at times. So if we need to change, the CBO will request that because they're out there and they see it and they're very, very active with that. So if they see like their route now is calm, but they're seeing a block over and down the street, there's more kids, it's more congregating, they usually
Mm-hmm.
will submit that route change very quickly.
Got it. Thanks.
That's it. I don't know if you have any questions, if there's anything else.
Well, I certainly have a few questions, but I do want to open it up. I see we have committee member Gall with us as well. So, but yeah, I don't know, Nakapon, Karen, anyone from the audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand.
I know that I'm coming a little late because I was in another one of those meetings similar to this. Um, and considering that I started a T Street task force,
Yeah.
um, gosh, I started probably it's been years now, but
Mhm.
it's well attended by our community, and it was started by 3D CAC in order to address the issues that we're having around the Shaw Howard area, specifically, and then also we have a Adams Morgan task force as well,
Yes.
but that's outside of the ANC 1B area. So, but I want to address the issues that we have specifically in the ANC 1B area. Um, the Safe Passage program has been needed a lot, specifically recently with some of the federal situations that we've been having with the ICE incidents where the parents feel unsafe, even more so than what the original aim was to try to help curb some of the violence that was attached to a lot of the drug dealing, human trafficking, drug trafficking, etc., and to make sure that our school children are safe. I speak often with parents who are across the district who have been utilizing the Safe Passage program to some
Mhm.
extent, but there is still consistently in the ANC 1B area issues where the parents, then this is prior to the federal surge, so I can speak on that. However, because of those circumstances, it sort of changed the dynamics a little bit. I'm interested in seeing, we're praying that some of the incidents levels out, that we don't see the harm that is being caused to the residents by the ICE, which is
Mhm.
why most of them want to use the safe passage now. But going back to the situations where we have consistently had violent incidents and drugs incidents around the school areas, how has the and to the point that we had to use our 3D CAC public safety captains to try to work with some deployment. However, I just want to know, how are you all really helping in with those circumstances? If you've addressed it already, please forgive me because I am coming in a bit late. But how are you if the shift from the drug activity to the ice activity, and we pray that it doesn't go back to a proliferation of a huge drug activity again, what are you all doing to sort of navigate that?
So if I'm hearing you correctly with the ICE situation, right?
That's
So what
one.
yeah, okay. So what we've done, I know, and maybe Lolita Griffin, I know you didn't get to hear her speak. She could speak a little bit more on this, but especially because I know that it really affected a lot of the Ward 1 areas that Safe Passage is in, especially Columbia Heights, East Street Metro, Columbia Heights Metro. Um, they were Safe Passages was very they were reporting when they were seeing anything. They were also walking with the students. I know that they were
Mhm.
reporting to us even like we had set something up from Czech to Columbia Heights, right? Because they also were very concerned because they're also part of that population as well. So I know, so they've really been on alert, especially the first couple weeks. I went out there. We would walk around Columbia Heights as well, just checking all the areas. And they would make sure that they were walking students even to, I know, a building in Mount Pleasant, for example. I see Lolita. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to let
Go
you
ahead, let you
finish.
add.
Yeah, go ahead. You want me to add?
Go ahead.
Yeah, like Jasmine said, for instance, in Ward 1 and along that particular area that she is talking about, I know we had gotten together and it was basically all hands on deck during that period of
Mhm.
time where myself, the supervisors who normally roam through the areas checking on ambassadors because they have a lot of routes and things like that, but we was actually on foot and making sure that if we was just reporting out everything like on from block to block, we was just like combing the
Mhm.
blocks like a fine tooth comb, making sure that if we saw something uh that we reported out instantly. And when we was reporting things out, it was like in real time, like, hey, this is what we see right here, this car looks like this, you know, and making sure that we get that information to Jasmine as quick as possible so we can provide that safety support for the students and the community. Like she said, we was walking with them, we was walking kids home. We had like a school bus train of just us out there making sure that not only that the students are safe, but the citizens in those particular areas was okay. We was giving them information, letting them know here if you need any additional supports, giving them our organization information if they needed any additional supports and things like that. So we really took that ICE situation and all of that really serious. And when even when it comes to the drug community and the drug activity that's going on, at the end of the day, it's we try to do the best that we can to report out everything that we see. We're not going to just hold a blind eye to anything. We report out everything. So and we have a good connection with all of the watch commanders and things like that. We have a direct connection to the watch commanders if we see something suspicious, whether it's drug activity, whether it's someone out drug using, we're going to report those types of incidents every time that we see it. So it was a matter of us stepping up our communication to a really, really high level and be really on alert and bringing out, everybody to support, the community during times like that. So whenever there's like a high level of incidents or any or whatever the community may need, we would be like an all hands on deck community together to make sure that the wards and the routes that the ambassadors walk along and things like and the scholars is safe as much as possible. Unfortunately, there's not too much that we can do outside of, our rules and regulations when it comes to safe passage, but we make sure that, that we were reporting out, we're calling the dispatcher, we're calling Jasmine and say, hey, we feel like something is going to happen right here. Can we get some extra support? MPD will pull up and provide that extra support in that location. So we're just making sure that we're being very vigilant as much as possible. I just wanted to add that.
Mm. Thank you.
I appreciate that ad, and again, you may have, as you mentioned, reported it earlier, and I know that you had to reiterate some things that you reported. I just was really, I'm just trying to be really conscientious. We have a a monthly meeting with our 3DCAC T Street Public Safety Task Force. And I'm sure you've been aware of it, made aware of it, Jasmine, through because we've walked with the we done community walks in the T Street area, and we specifically had some addressing of issues where we need signage placed for drug zone signages that we've had DDOT
Yeah,
placed in the area, and
yeah.
then
Okay.
also the lighting. We've improved the lighting in the area. However, we've been trying we've been consistently trying to make sure that all of the businesses are connected to the real time crime center.
Hmm.
Um, and although we have our MPD cameras in the third district in various areas, we just really and the third district covers this entire 1B area. So just on for clarity's sake, um, I just want to make sure that the safe passage program that it we I think we just need because the concerns are still there. We just had a recent meeting where there's still a concerns that they need to have more deployments. And of course, I'm always happy to have the safe passage ambassadors work directly with our 3D PSA public safety captains, because I think that that would be a great collaboration to help amp up what Miss Griffin is talking about, because it's certainly something that we need support on all levels. And but I just really want to see if the deployments are effective. What's the feedback from the parents? What's the feedback from the schools that's in the area? Have you been getting like a report card? What's the report card grade that they've been giving you all?
Yeah. So what we also do is, just so you're aware, and we did kind of cover this earlier on, and it's fine, no worries. I know you were not a problem. Um, One is that the Collaborative Solutions for Community is the CBO for that for Ward 1 area. They did student surveys. Also, they have what we started this year is that the supervisors meet with the schools on a weekly basis to do check-ins. And so we're always looking at that feedback. I think for the Ward 1 for those schools, we're getting very good feedback, especially this year from between much better than this time last year. So we're getting a great feedback, and I can share some of that
Yes,
feedback with you.
I would like to
Um,
see that now if you can. That'd be great.
yeah, well, I don't have it with me. I could send it to you.
Okay, well, I'll put
Yeah,
my
if that's
information in the
okay.
chat for you.
Yes, please
Feel free
do.
to send it over and
Yes,
I
yes.
can
I'll see
distribute
how I
it
can
also.
compile like a few of what the feedback looks like.
Yeah, I have your email address, but
Yeah.
I think that and I know that I had and I'm always consistently asking for this, so I'm happy to get that in real time now that we're talking about it, because I know that I'm supposed to be doing a testimony tomorrow
Hmm.
in regards to this. So it would be great if I could get that information as soon as possible, and I can add that to my report.
And also if because we are not Safe Passages is not in that immediate area, you may want to mention advocating for that as well to expand it to the T Street to that area.
Oh,
I may give
definitely.
Yes,
That's the reason why I'm saying it's needed. It's
yes,
critical
yes.
in
So
the
if you
area.
want to bring that, yes. And then also we also I know I spoke with you, I think it was last year when we did the signage, cleaning the sidewalks. So if there's a time we can connect as well on some of your other concerns, I'm willing, to help with you as well, to work through that with you as well. Um, Lolita, I don't know if you want to send over to her or maybe want to briefly share some of the feedback very quickly that you got from students as well.
Yes, ma'am. Like I was saying earlier, one ways that we engage with the students is that we have them complete a survey during our pop-ups and then during their daily commutes throughout the routes um, in the community. And they will, speak to the students and have them complete a survey. And they ask them a couple of questions. And we wanted to get their feedback so we can know as ambassadors and as an organization, what are we doing well and what do we need to do more of? And of course, we're a safe passage. So that main question was, do they feel safe? Now that safe passage is in the community now, walking with them and making sure they get to and from school safe. And we collected 200 hold on, let me make sure I'm saying this right. 263 responses, and out of 263 responses, uh 263 say they do feel safe. um and they have 262 have said that they have had positive reactions with the safe passage workers that are assigned along their routes and things like that. And I think one of the other questions that I shared that's on this survey is, are they aware of the activities? Because we like to make sure that when we're engaging with the ambassadors, to let them know when we're going to have the activities, our pop-up events. And in those pop-up events, of course, we have good treats and things like that for the students, but we also have information about other programs that we have at Collaborative Solutions for Communities, like our student groups, parenting, and things like that. So we like to pass along that information to them as well. So that is one of our ways of engaging the students to get their input. And I think what we're going to do moving forward is leave a space open to see, what is there anything else they would like to see more of, or how will the community in themselves would like to participate in any upcoming events. So we do take a survey with that. And as far as our engagement with the school, I know you mentioned it early, like what is the school's input? My supervisor, they do a weekly check-in. It's called the principal report, and they will check in with their point of contacts weekly. And they also have to answer those questions in regards of what they have observed in regards to their interactions with the ambassadors, what they see, the actions of the ambassadors out there, what we can do more of, and any additional comments that they will have to, they will say about the work that they see the ambassadors doing. And we collect all of that data and compile it in our database. I think I do have a spreadsheet that I may can share as well with some of those responses. I would just have to get with uh, our quality assurance team to see if she can compile that information. But
That'd be great.
the student engagement is what I have right now.
Well,
I am curious. Oh, sorry.
no, go
I just
ahead. No, hey, go ahead. I was just still trying to get more information, but go ahead, Francois. Go ahead. I'll finish my thought after you finish.
Thanks. I was just curious. You mentioned T Street earlier, and I'm curious. I know Safe Passage is not servicing elementary schools right now, for example.
Mhm.
Um, Likely, I would guess I feel like because kids are not traveling as far generally on their own
Mhm.
to go to school. But you see that as an area with need. Are we seeing kids get off at the Shaw Howard Metro stop? Is that something that the ANC should advocate for? Because I do know, that obviously we do have issues with drugs and safety in that area. We do have Cleveland Elementary right there. So I'm curious how Lolita and Jasmine, you both see that area of ANC 1B.
Oh no, I definitely see the need. And if you could push for that and advocate, that would be great. We'll
Hmm.
be more than happy to add that area if we
I
can get it for next year. But we do see
because
there's a need.
because we've done an in-depth study on this. This
Mm-hmm.
is not just a passing
Right.
by, and we've been working in this area for quite some time. That's the reason why we started the Public Safety Task Force, because we work deeply with Cleveland Elementary School, and so safe passage is needed. It's not just because they're elementary school; it's a needed issue because of the location, and it's right there in the thick of things. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the schools. And although we have other schools that's right in the area where the students can walk straight to the schools and their parents drop them off and without any incidents, I hadn't had a heavy report as we're having in that particular area where that's the T Street area. And we've been running this task force for quite some time, but the specific hone in on the Cleveland Elementary School
Yeah.
has been going on for 3 to 4 years specifically. I want to say since 2022, where we've been having issues. So I do have all of the data and information associated with that, for reporting. However, my because we have consistently had MPD involved, and as you already mentioned, Jasmine, the consistent getting actual things done to make things work in that area. But my concern still is, and I'll push this because you don't always have people there all the time, like Miss Griffin is mentioning. The cameras are really important, and and I think that it would allow a lot of deterrence and a lot of the issues that we're having that's done in front of the businesses and around the school. And so I really do think that we do have to have a deeper discussion than what we've been having, because I don't understand why that area has been overlooked. So I really do want that to be a critical conversation that's had moving forward, and then also retrospectively try to capture the stuff that has occurred beforehand, so that we can
Yeah.
make some really proactive moves. And thank you so much, Miss Griffin, for everything, and thank you, Miss Jasmine, for everything that you've been doing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And I think I've seen a tremendous your work is showing, especially in the T Street corridor. You all have done great work with that task force. So anything that I can do, like I said, if we need to have another conversation and more in depth about the cameras and other things you would like to do,
Hmm.
please feel free and I'm willing to help you get that going if I can be of any assistance.
Certainly, I'll bring you in to one of our CAC meetings. I've had the deputy mayor come in and talk, but I want to really make sure that we specifically speak on this area for our CAC meetings as well. Okay.
Yep. Yes, most definitely. Thank you.
Great. Great. Well, yeah, thank you so much both for attending the meeting. Really appreciate it. I will talk more with the committee and maybe we'll have some follow-up questions, especially if we try to pass a resolution advocating for safe passage to be expanded to the T Street area and in and around Cleveland Elementary for the next school year. But yeah, it would be great.
I think you had a couple questions or you're passing now. I thought
Yeah,
you had a couple
well, I
questions.
do want to ask them. I am conscious of time since our
Okay.
meetings generally are only supposed to run till 8. I guess I'll ask a couple quick questions since you offered. I didn't want to take too much of your time.
No, 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 it's fine,
Um,
please.
Thank you. First thing, I think, Karen was right to bring up, the incidents with ICE that
Yes,
is a very interesting question in terms of how safe passage has
yes.
been involved with what's been going on in DC. I am curious whether we're still seeing a lot of activity in and around schools, especially in Columbia Heights, or whether that has died down in recent months and there's not that much ICE activity around schools as kids and parents are going to and from schools.
So we haven't, it seems like it's died down a lot.
Hmm.
Ambassadors really haven't been reporting much at all.
Yeah.
Schools haven't reporting a lot either as well because ambassadors also, we were communicating with schools as well. Like when she was talking
Sure.
about all hands on deck, principals were out there, everybody was out there at the same time in the mornings, in the afternoons. So
Hmm.
I'm not hearing of that. I do check in just to say, hey, have y'all seen any activity or heard anything? And there hasn't been, so it has died down. Not that they're
Hmm.
completely gone, but at least seems like it has died down around the school communities.
And when it was sort of at its peak, what were they seeing?
Trucks with guys just
Mhm.
jumping out in Mount Pleasant, 14th Street, Park Road. I have to go
Mhm.
back to see all the from our chats, but
Sure, yeah.
that's what they were seeing. Maybe two or three trucks rolling up at a time, um,
And they were
jumping out.
targeting people near the schools, or they were targeting parents, kids. I'm
That
just
they
just curious,
don't
like what the final,
know.
like the what
I don't think
yeah.
they've seen. I don't think, and Lolita, please correct me if I'm wrong. I
Mhm.
don't think they would actually they would see them jump out and stand there. I don't think they saw anyone actually get
Hmm.
taken to, or get taken into custody, to my understanding.
Hmm.
But just to
No, we
see that
haven't
was very
witnessed that,
scary.
but No, we haven't witnessed that, but there was a lot of like unmarked cars,
Yes.
with tinted
Hmm.
windows,
Yeah.
and pulling over like commercial trucks, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
IDing people, and I think that area over there by Target, like they really, I think one time it was so many police out there, like it was really scary. So, but it
Mm.
like Jasmine said, it died down a lot, and I think it died down a lot because the support of the community was
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Ward
Like
one came out.
they came out
Ward one showed
and they
up.
were very supportive.
Yes, yes. In all areas, Ward one really, and across the district, but we know that my main targeted area was Ward one and four, and they really
Hmm.
showed out.
It's great to hear. That's great to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
Um, I was curious, also, so the ambassadors themselves, I'm curious, are they hired on a part-time basis? Are they
Mhm.
generally from the community? Um, and then what are they doing in the middle of the day between shifts?
So the ambassador, oh, Lilia, did you want to answer? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I can answer that. So
Right.
yes, they are part-time employed,
Hmm.
and most of them are with our collaborative. We have other programs like parenting, our workforce development program. So most of them, if they
Hmm.
can, they can come to our office, use our computer room,
Hmm.
uh, and sit into the parenting group classes and workforce development, because we want to encourage them, to reach for the
Hmm.
stars. Safe passage is not going to be your last stomping grounds. We encourage them to go back to school. We encourage them to move up, find other jobs, and they have been, like, a lot of our ambassadors are now working in the school system, because the
Hmm.
schools that have seen their work, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Hmm.
invited them to come in to be a part of, their school and work with the students and things like that. So a lot of them are parents, and and they do a lot of volunteer work, or they have other employment and things like that. But
Hmm.
most of our ambassadors, they really take the time out to utilize the services and the resources that we have out at our organization.
That's great. And I guess last question, I'm curious what obstacles you see for the future of safe passage in DC. What are you guys still, what are the challenges you guys are still working on that you're hoping to, improve or get more funding for, or something you're concerned about going forward in the next year? Yeah, I'm curious what challenges the program is facing that you're hoping to overcome.
Well,
Okay.
I know I can speak, just like, I don't remember her name, that who was just speaking. One of our
Good stuff.
concerns is getting feedback from other communities
Hmm.
around, the elementary schools. That is uh, one of the concerns that we have, because we have a lot of parents that will, pull us over and talk to us and say, hey, why isn't safe passage is not around this school or this school? And
Hmm.
because they're elementary schools, and we don't cover those areas. But I know
Hmm.
for the future that I see for safe passage is to provide that support along the routes along the elementary schools, like she was speaking of
Hmm.
as well. So I think that will be great.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
one of the things that I look
Yeah,
forward to seeing.
it should hopefully be a smaller area with the elementary schools too, because kids aren't
No,
generally coming as far, is my understanding. But certainly,
no, that's
yeah.
not true. That's not
Okay.
true,
Tell me I'm wrong.
Francois.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not true. I mean,
Tell me why.
I hear what you're saying, but some of the parents, they do walk blocks and blocks and blocks. It depends
Sure.
on where their homes are located.
Sure.
They do have, and some they may send their young minor kids with the kids to walk them to school.
I see.
It's not always parents that walks these children to school, and everybody doesn't have the ability to always have a car to drop them off. Even
Hmm.
though the schools do try to keep those type of amenities offered to the parents, they don't. The I can just tell you when we had a welcome back to school for the Cleveland Elementary, and the support structure in certain neighborhoods is not always there. I was the only one that showed up for Cleveland Elementary School
Hmm.
in the neighborhood to welcome the kids back. I mean that, and I say that it's certain schools may have a whole group of people, as Jasmine said, that may come in and welcome back certain, but then there's certain schools that don't have that type of nurturing and support. So we need to, and they may have, and because it's a bilingual school, they may have a whole lot of they have to walk further in order to enjoy that particular
Mhm.
school structure. So we have to make sure that we give them the support and amenities that they need, and not say that they don't have to come far. They do have to come very far in order to get the things that they need in their neighborhoods. And because some people block them out from going to certain places, so we want them to all fit in and enjoy the amenities of that particular neighborhood. Now, my name is Karen Gall, Miss Lolita. I know that I put my information in the chat. I know that you're not familiar with me, but 3dcac .org is our website, and you can feel free to reach out at any time. Of course, Jasmine knows who I am. And so, but the questions that we're asking were general questions so that everybody could have more information about what's going on. If there's, but Francois, I could tell you this Cleveland needs a lot of support, and that's what we've been consistently
Believe me,
trying to drum up
I,
the
I hear
support
you. I've
for
been
them.
advocating for Cleveland to get safe passage earlier. I mean, this came up last year again. So
Yeah,
thank you for filling in the gaps in my understanding. Because yeah, I mean, definitely if there are a significant number of kids who are traveling from far away, I mean, it seems like the younger kids are even more vulnerable. We want to be even more mindful
exactly.
about
And
them.
and and
So.
especially if they have an older sibling who's walking them to school, and they're vulnerable, and then the parents are vulnerable too, especially right now. And there's a lot of different peer groupings, I mean parent groupings, and we have as community members who may not be affected. We're all impacted, but immediately affected, as whatever tools they're using to identify and profile people, everybody's affected, for the most part. But we have to be very supportive around this situation where they're going through. Right, this is a crisis that they're going through right now. However, the drug
Mhm.
information that we shared earlier is a crisis too, and it's layers and layers of stuff that has to be addressed. And so, Jasmine, I really think it's critical. I'm going to keep swinging the and beating the drum and swinging the flags for Cleveland to get as much support as possible. But not only Cleveland, we have all the other schools just in this 1B area that needs to have the support as well. But thank you.
And we're here to support that as well. So,
I know, I know, I know. I just think that people who are. I think everybody there needs to be a lot of awareness out there for the schools, and I really appreciate this program. Thank you very much.
well, thank you for that feedback as well. And I look forward to working with you in the near future.
Yeah, thank you so much for staying the full hour. Really
No
appreciate it.
worries.
Learned a lot, and yeah, I definitely want the commission to advocate for Cleveland and for expanding safe passage based off of what I've heard from you and heard from others. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah, have a great rest of your evening. Stay
Okay,
warm.
you too. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Well,
You
we only
too.
have a couple more things on our agenda. Um, I did want to briefly discuss the DPR oversight hearing that's coming up. And I'm going to share my screen just to show. Here, wait, let's see. Some committee members had worked on testimony. So I want to share that now. Can everyone see?
I did want to ask, did you add in the information that we shared during the committee meetings to this? Because I didn't get a chance to put in my because I didn't want to overlap too much.
Hmm. I mean, I had written a sort of a structure up here based off of our conversations, and then I kind of left it up to folks to do with that what they will. Somebody wrote out a more fleshed out, yeah, more fleshed out testimony, which I think is pretty good. But I am curious if we want to just quickly read it and see if there's any suggestions we want to make. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you all in terms of testifying individually. We're not going to be able to submit testimony as a full commission because we would have to vote on it. But I was planning to either speak or submit written testimony in advance, and I definitely encourage all the committee members to do so. So I'm
Yeah, I've
disappointed
signed
that
up
some of our other
for.
committee members who helped write the testimony are not on, but feel free to take a look.
Well, I've signed up for it, and I know I gave a considerable amount of information during our committee meetings, and I
Mhm.
figured that you were using that in to bring this up, and it's also part of that. So what I'll do is I'll look in that, but I just didn't want to be so redundant with my testimony
Mhm.
that I'll be using for DPR, but it will
Yeah,
also add in some of the stuff that I've shared broadly with you and Brandon, and also when
mhm.
we've had meetings. I'll be
Sure.
bringing in all of that I've been sharing with you since I've been participating with this committee. So I'm sure you have that full breadth of that information. I haven't read this document. That's why I'm just trying to over.
Yeah. Well,
Hopefully,
feel
you
free to take a
understand
look,
what I'm
and if
saying.
if if you want to share your testimony with us, I'd be very interested to see it, just to understand the scope of what you're going to be speaking about. But yeah, this is like I said, I did not write this actual section here. I just sort of wrote a quick structure based off of our conversations and what you and others had said. And I think there's certainly more that we could add in here. I believe we get 5 minutes to speak, though I may be
Oh,
running over.
they only have 3 minutes for community members and 5 minutes for organizations.
Yeah, yeah. So. Yeah, I'm not sure how I will ultimately testify, but I'm hoping to at least submit written testimony. And I think that what we have here is a great start for that. Um, so yeah,
Are we
feel
going
free
to
to
have
take a look.
Nakapon? Is Nakapon going to testify? I know he wanted to do a program. Is
Yes. Well, that
he's
was what I
on
wanted to talk
Nakapon's
about
on?
next, which I think is a great transition is, I had reached out to the Department of Arts and Recreation to find out what's happening with Nakapon's partnership application, to do some martial arts classes at a rec center in the area to engage at-risk youth. And here, I'll stop sharing my screen. They responded and said that they were interested, but they thought that we should start with the ANC basically submitting something in support of a permit application. So, Nakapon, I'm curious if you were able to find out more, and then, hopefully we can vote on something at our March meeting to get this moving.
Yeah, the way that I read um, her email was that we should submit a permit as the ANC.
Okay.
That's uh, that's how I read the email. So I did a little bit of research and seeing, what the process is. You do need a letter of support from the ANC if you have over 100, if you anticipate over 100
Hmm.
participants, and some other things that some maybe something from the MPD as well. I don't think it's going to be that big for our first, event. So as long as I'm given some type of power to act as the ANC, I'd be more than happy to submit the permit. What I've read is that you basically need to select a date, and I can do that on the website. They have a bunch of different
Hmm.
dates available as long as what it coincides with the hours of operation for the facility
Hmm.
and for that day. So I'll have to talk with the staff. We'll figure it out, and then we submit the permit within 30 days of the date. So
I
basically,
see.
if we a month from now, we say, okay, we'll submit the permit, and they charge a per hour fee for use of the facility, depending upon what area of the facility we want. I'm happy to front the cost. I don't think it's gonna be more than $50, no big deal. And then I'll get the people out there as well. So I mean, at this point, as long as I'm given that ability to do that, that's not a problem. The only issue that I see is perhaps promotion, right? Is saying like, how do we get the word out? And that may be with the schools. If we have point of contacts with them, I'm happy to make flyers and get in contact with the schools and say, hey, we're going to have this event, and just go ahead and pass it out to
Yeah.
whoever you want to show up, and we'll make it
Yeah.
happen. So
I mean, I will say, I mean, we have connections. We know a lot of the schools in the area. Um, the ANC could probably help if we needed to print out flyers or something like that. I'm friends with a teacher at Cardozo, and so yeah, certainly I think we can help with promotion. In terms of actually submitting the permit, I think if you like if you can send me the information, like all the information for the permit, then I can take a look at it. I think the ANC should. I will check with the chairperson, but I think either I should submit it or he should submit it
okay.
ultimately to DPR. But yeah, that's great to hear that you found the information you needed online. It sounds like. I mean, are there any outstanding questions about how to submit the permit?
No, I mean you just have to create the login,
Okay.
and it would have to be on, ANC would have to have its own login, and
Hmm.
I'd probably just potentially give you I would say what I'll do. I will look at potential dates, because
Okay.
when you submit the permit, you're also going to have to select the date and the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can do that first. I can provide all the information for you.
Sure.
And then if you submit it, that's great. In terms of
Yep.
promotion, I have a team too that can develop everything we need. So no big deal. It's
Okay.
more about the point of contacts that would
Sure.
be helpful. Yes, like the people
Yeah.
that, we deal with people at Safe Pass would be great too. Just anybody who we can
Yep.
contact and get the word out, and then we'll give it a try. I'm not so sure what time is the best time. I would probably assume within a half an hour of when school gets out, and it just also depends on whether we're targeting middle schools or high schools, or but we'll, we'll
Hmm.
we'll we'll play around with it, and
Yep.
once that happens, if we decide to do something more longer term, that's when we would file it, and then we would probably need the ANC to
Mhm.
act on our
Sure.
behalf in this, getting a letter. And so that's I think that's the general process.
Great. Yeah,
And
that
and
sounds perfect.
MPD is always involved in permits in the area. So just so once you do it, the ANC would probably I'm just saying this for you, Nakapon. The ANC would probably be the best way, especially if you are going to do a program, if you're doing a program in collaboration with the ANC, which it sounds like what you're doing, that would be your best entry point to do it, especially with DPR. That's my suggestion. And any
Got it.
permits to come out, period, MPD will be informed about it so that they know what's going on. They have a contact process, a check off process that all of these check boxes need to be checked in order to get the permit for whatever it is that you're doing. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. Am I correct, Nakapan?
Yeah, well, this is the recommendation of the person at DPR is that file the permit based on the proposal that I submitted. They said, just take this verbiage, submit the permit as if you are the ANC, since it's only a one-off event. And then I guess moving forward, if we decide to do something more regularly, then it would be something that we file and would need support of ANC and of course MPD to
Hmm.
move forward with something that is like more like uh, two days a week type of programming for 3 months, something like that. So this is just a pilot program first. They said just file it, and then we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, because if it's a one off and it's collaboration with the ANC, that's the strongest way to get it done. And then also, and Francois, I would suggest that the ANC does have their supporting letter to go along with it. to
Mm,
make
sure.
sure that it's already clear that the ANC has already gone through the approval process. And my second suggestion would be to
Hmm.
utilize the community engagement committee's processing in order to help with outreach from the ANC level, because that's the job of the community engagement
Yeah,
committee,
yeah.
to make
I think I
sure that
understand.
that is incorporated. And I made the suggestion before with the other committees that I'm on, to always, when it comes to outreach for the ANC, to utilize the community engagement committee, because that's their main task, to get the word out and
Mhm.
to connect with those people, that any collaborative processes with the ANC is done properly. So
True. We
hopefully,
have a whole committee for this. We don't have to do it all.
right, you don't.
Great.
Hey, that's the win-win. And then also, what I would suggest is, Francois, as far as your put in the standard operation procedures, submit this to Trinidad to put in, as part of the standard operation procedures, that the community engagement committee is a part of getting the word out for any public safety events such as this. So that, because they just wrote it in to use the community engagement committee for the APCA committee stuff, and then
Hmm.
also use it for the economic development. And then I just did something so it can be used for the zoning. So I also suggest that you get that added into the SOPs for um, the public safety as well.
Good idea. Great
Okay.
idea.
Well, and if we had a quorum, I would make I would make a motion that we adopt that and accept it. But I'm not going to
Sure.
do that. But that's what I'll do for our next meeting if we need to. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Great. Well, yeah,
Thank you.
knock on. Send me all that info where the permit needs to be submitted. I will check with the powers that be and we can get that in as soon as possible. I agree that why not do a letter in support for now for the one-off event? We can always do another one if we want to do something longer term. So once I have all the information from you, I should be able to draft up something quick, run it by
I'll make
you.
a motion now if you want, and then we can just approve it, and that'll help you spur this on.
I think it's unfortunately we don't have a quorum, so I think that might be difficult. But it's okay. I don't think we need
Not for a letter.
I think the commission will be supportive of it.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, it's very proactive for the ANC.
That's what I love to see.
Yeah.
Great. I'll send that over to you in the next few days.
Great
Okay.
job, Nakapan. Great job.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
Thank you. Push it through.
Um, well, I realized that I skipped over our MPD representative, Captain Murphy, who I believe is on. So I want to quickly hear from him and then we can call it a day. Captain Murphy, you should be able to speak unless it's someone else online with his name. We can't hear you if you're speaking.
They may be on another call. You know how that
Mm.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like he might be rejoining, but let's give it just 1 second. Let's
Hi,
see.
can you guys all hear me?
Yes,
Hey, how you doing? I'm just filling in for Sergeant Jesse Lynn of the Third District.
great, great. Thank you for joining us. You said Jesse Lynn?
Yes.
Got it. And did you have any major updates on crime in ANC 1B you wanted to mention? Karen, I know you mentioned there was a murder recently on 16th Street.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was a 3100 block of 16th Street, and it was an indoor scene. But I believe they just caught the suspect today.
It's good to hear. Um, do we know if it was connected to anything? Was it gang or crew-based violence or something different?
Not really. I believe it was domestic violence related, to my knowledge. So I don't have a whole
Okay.
lot of details on it.
It's
Yep.
domestic.
Got it. Great. And any other updates to share?
No, I don't have any other updates to share really. That
Got it. Any questions from anyone? All right. Well, I don't know if there were any community announcements that folks wanted to share.
As always, we have our 3D CAC meetings on the last Thursday of every month, and it's going to be in person if weather permits at 1620 V Street Northwest. And everyone is always welcome. And of course, I always like when we have our public safety committee members in
hey,
place, because that's where you started, Francois.
That's
So we
true.
definitely
Way back when
that's where
in
you started.
2024.
Look, you got into it. I drafted you into 3D CAC, being boots on the ground, and you've been moving since. So I
it's all
expect everyone to be as responsive and participatory as possible, because having our community policing together and working with each other together is extremely critical in making sure that we're all safe and secure in our area. So I look forward to seeing all of you at the 3D CAC public safety meeting, which is going to be held at the 3rd District Police Station on at the end of the month on our last Thursday. That's February the 26th, to be exact, and at 7 p.m. And then also we do have the hybrid component, especially if the weather doesn't permit us attending in person. We always have that Zoom option, and you can go to
Hmm.
3dcac.org to register. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Well, I am going to end our meeting. Thanks so much for sharing, everybody, and asking some good questions. I think we got some good action items. We're going to get this permit application done for Beta Academy. We have the testimony on Thursday. And yeah, I think after that, for our next meeting, we can try to work on or even, pass or at least, support a resolution in favor of expanding safe passage to include Cleveland Elementary and to explore, the needs at other elementary schools in the area that are currently not being served by safe passage. So, yeah, there's some great, great work for the committee coming up.
Yeah, that'll be a part of my testimony tomorrow anyway. So I really
Awesome. I
appreciate
remember asking back in, 20, yeah, I think even 2024, curious about the elementary schools. Cleveland has a lot of incidents. It seems like there's a need for more presence there when there's pickup and drop off and kids are walking to schools. So it's great to hear that, yeah, you'll be mentioning it in your testimony. And it sounds like there is real interest from Jasmine and others in the mayor's office to actually get that done.
Yeah, it's a critical thing. So having them here tonight was really important. But the
Hmm.
DPR stuff that we discussed in
Yep.
regards to trying to ensure that we have more centers open in the evening is really
Hmm.
important. And all of
Yep.
the information that I shared with you and Brandon a while ago on how to, which has spurned a lot of our conversations that we've been having since then. To make sure that we're all together. But
Mm.
I'm gonna give you guys the rest of your evening back too. So I'll talk to you later.
Talk to y'all later. Have a good
Okay.
evening.
Good night.
Good night.